Chapter 3. I feel like nobody ever talks about this chapter. Let me know in the comments if this is your favorite chapter. I'm just curious. But anyways, today I'm going to be going through each season of Chapter 3 one by one and rating them on a scale of 1 to 10 to see which season is the best and which season is the worst of this chapter. At the end, I'll average all the scores to see what my ranking for the chapter as a whole is. But before we get into it, just want to say be sure to like this video if you do enjoy this kind of content. Just be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you're notified when I'm live. Be sure to join the Discord, link is in the top of the description, and of course use code Brivy in the item shop. Anyways, love you, enjoy the video. First up, we got Chapter 3 Season 1. Everyone seems to really love this season, and I can see why. It was well paced, there were a lot of updates, the map was pretty cool, there were fun items in the game, and a lot of new mechanics. However, I'm not gonna lie, I did not really enjoy this season. And the reason for that is the weapon meta. This might just be the worst weapon meta in the history of the game. The shotguns were unusable this season, so people would just use the Stinger SMG, which by the way is one of the most broken items they've ever added. It is absolutely insane. On top of that, the MK7 was incredibly broken, so this meta was just absolutely chaos to use and have used against you. And I had pretty high ping this season. Yes, I know, skill issue, I get it, but I had a terrible time. This was also one season before Zero Build came out, so I was just forced to suffer. And like I said, a lot of that's a personal problem, I know, but that doesn't change the fact that the meta was still garbage and unbalanced. That's not saying I didn't like some of the weapons. Like, I love the MK. I think it's a fantastic concept with the red dot, and it was really fun to use. It was just way too good. Same thing with the Stinger SMG. It was super fun to use, but an SMG that fires that fast should not be able to hit shots from 150 meters away. And the shotguns just did no damage. They were pretty cool and pretty fun to use. They just did like 50 damage per shot if you were lucky. Just not a good meta at all. And that's kind of what your game is based around. If you have a terrible weapon meta, the season isn't going to be that good. I mean, if you like this season, you were probably bad at the game. No comp player looks back at the season and said, oh yeah, I really liked this season. You know why? Because the weapon meta was terrible. However, they did manage to do a pretty good job of updating the game pretty frequently with, you know, Colombo, the tornadoes, the addition of tilted towers back in the game. Covert Cavern, I think, was added this season, maybe? So they did a pretty good job keeping the game fresh. And just to go over some other cool stuff, Spider-Man Mythic, the best movement item in the game's history. Just insanely good job by Epic. The tent mechanic, that was actually pretty cool. Actually made for a lot of content, so that was nice. Medmist, I really like Medmist. The idea of being able to move and heal. This was the first time we'd seen that. Sliding was introduced this season, legendary mechanic, and the snipers were actually really good. Overall, not a bad season, just a bad meta, and that made the game very unenjoyable for me. Also, the battle pass was pretty cool this season, and the Winterfest stuff was pretty cool too. Overall, I'm feeling a 6.7 for this season. Next up, we got Chapter 3 Season 2. This is a season that I feel like nobody ever talks about, and I don't really understand why. I actually really enjoyed this season. So many revolutionary additions this season. Zero Build was introduced this season, and with that, we got mantling and sprinting. Also Overshield, which are just revolutionary mechanics. The cannons that shot you literally halfway across the map were really cool. Tanks were also a huge addition, whether you like them or not. The little battle buses that you could drive around. The blimps in the sky were super cool as well. I really liked the war theme and thought it worked very well, especially with the addition of Zero Build. This was just a really cool season to me. Now, there were some issues, like the weapon meta still. It was definitely better and more balanced than Season 1, but it was still bad. Shotgun meta still wasn't great, and all they added to it was the drum shotgun, and I think the ranger shotgun later in the season, so I mean it didn't help much. They also added the combat SMG, which was arguably even better than the Stinger, so great job, Epic. That just was so bad for the meta. Not sure why they did that. But on the bright side, we did get the Striker Burst AR, which is one of the best ARs they've ever added. Compromise is key. I don't have too much else to say about the season. I really like the theme. The meta was meh. The map was pretty cool. Zero Build was added. That's a huge W. And I think I actually never got to play the event, but I watched the event and it looked pretty cool as well. So overall, I'm feeling a strong 7 for this season. And next up, we got Chapter 3, Season 3. Now, this is a season that gets a lot of backlash. I know some people that will die on the hill of their distaste for this season, and I can see why. This was not a good season by any means. I'm not here to defend it. I definitely don't think it's the worst season of all time, but I can admit this was a bad season. The first problem was there was virtually zero theme for this season, so that's kind of where it went wrong to start with. They wanted this season to be like a fun and chill season, which it kind of was. It was pretty chill most of the time, it just wasn't very fun or interesting. The weapon meta was not good. Shotgun meta was still bad. This season it was the striker, the auto, the 2-shot, and later in the season they added the prime. Just not good. Chapter 3 easily has the worst shotgun metas of all time. But on the bright side, we did get the Hammer AR, which is also one of the best ARs they've ever added. Compromise is key. As far as the map goes, the reality tree was just not that interesting to me. And I really did not like the reality sapling mechanic, because all it did was just make getting mythic weapons super easy, and that just kind of ruins the point to me. Mythic weapons are supposed to be rare, and you should have to earn them, not just get them out of a sapling. But I did like the look of the reality biome, like the blue mushroom forest kind of thing. It was beautiful. Also, Rave K, one of the best POIs in existence, came this season. So again, compromise is key. They brought back the Star Wars stuff this season for a little bit. Whoop-de-doo. At least it made sense though, because Darth Vader was in the Battle Pass. Speaking of the Battle Pass, I actually liked this one. I thought they did a good job with most of the skin. It was a really fun, kind of vibrant Battle Pass. And another problem with this season is that there just wasn't really any movement. The only vehicles we had were cars and ballers, I'm pretty sure. And the only movement items we had were shockwaves and the grapple glove, which only had 10 charges, I'm pretty sure. Also, they put the Dragon Ball mythics in the game this season, which were incredibly busted. At least the Kamehameha was. The Nimbus Cloud was actually pretty good. And you could find them everywhere pretty much because they came in the little pill bottle supply drop thingies. And also, you could get them out of vending machines. So that sucks. If you're gonna make an overpowered mythic, make sure it's hard to get, because this was so annoying to play. This was the first season that they did this. I remember I was really upset. I was like, why is this so easy to get? It's so stupid. Overall, this season was just boring and stale. It wasn't unplayable, it just wasn't fun to play most of the time. I still had some fun though. I'm feeling a 4.6 for this season. And finally, we have this season, which people have kind of mixed opinions on. Me personally, I did not like this season. Matter of fact, I'll say it. I think this season was worse than Vibin. Cancel me, I don't care. The theme was garbage, the map changes were garbage, the weapon meta was garbage. Well, actually, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. I didn't like this season at all. I mean, some stuff was fun, like moving around as a chrome blob, but it got old after like 2 times. And fighting on the little hot air balloon things, which they for some reason put in Daily Bugle. Why did you have to do that to Daily Bugle? Other than that, this season just did not have much going for it. The Battle Pass was alright. I hated the chrome weapons. Both the shotgun and the AR were terrible, except if you got the mythic versions. And even then, it was not worth it to land with those garbage POIs and fight those annoying bosses. And the rest of the weapon meta wasn't a whole lot better either. We had the prime and lever shotguns, which this was the bad version of the lever, and I never liked the lever to begin with, so it's just kind of lose-lose. The one thing I'll give this weapon meta its props for is taking the Stinger and combat SMGs out and replacing them with some actually balanced SMGs. This is also the Fortnitemares season of the chapter, which admittedly I don't remember this Fortnitemares at all. Like I cannot for the life of me remember what happened for this Fortnitemares. This season was just very forgettable to me. I mean, I guess it was kind of fun. At least it had a theme, unlike Vibin, even if the execution was bad. I personally was just not a fan. I'm sorry. I think they could have made the theme a lot cooler, so it was just kind of disappointing. I'm feeling a 4.5 for this season. And according to me, the best season of the chapter was Chapter 3 Season 2 with a score of 7, and the worst season was Chapter 3 Season 4 with a score of 4.5. The average score for this chapter was a 5.7, which I think about describes the chapter. I honestly think it's better than the score, but I think just for individual seasons, Chapter 3 was not good. I think as a whole, it's better than when it's represented as individual seasons, if that makes sense. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Just be sure to like this video if you like this kind of content. Be sure to subscribe as well. Just be sure to join the Discord. Link will be in the top of the description. Use code Riven in the item shop. And anyways, just thank you for all the support. I love you. And I'll see you in the next one.